Hi, and welcome to Source Seers. I'm Love.
And I'm Tylynn. We're two Los Angeles-based witches who were brought together by fate with one mission.
To translate wisdom from Source and provide spiritual knowledge for the collective.
We're here to explore psychic stories, pop culture predictions, trauma healing, ancient knowledge, astrology, tarot, and so much more.
Source Seers is here to shine the spotlight on how the mystical realms are interwoven into the very fabric of our everyday lives.
Yeah!
Hello.
Hi, Source Seers.
So we are on a pop culture kick. We feel like
I'm feeling it.
You also are feeling it too. So we're like, let's just give the people what they want. We are the Princess Diana. We are the people's princess. We're here for y'all.
I know, I'm like, should we do like an education episode? But it's like, I feel like y'all really want to deep dive into all the pop culture stuff. Mm-hmm. So,
and it's like, it is educational because you're like learning astrology through someone or a topic that you're interested in. Mm-hmm. It's like learning is 3 to 5 times, I think it's like 3 times faster when you're having fun. So like people will be learning about astrology, you know, through us looking at their charts.
Yeah.
So if that helps.
I know the teacher in me is like, all right, I want to like create some educational pieces, but you're right. People will learn and have fun while they're learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone learns differently. So you're one line. So you learn through the education. The hard education.
I'm like, yes, give me all the textbooks.
Yeah. And I learned astrology through pop culture because I'm a 3-line.
Did you?
I would like follow people like on Instagram and like look at their posts about like, you know, like this, you know, they make those like mood boards where it's like, this is Aries and it's like different like scenes from different movies or different characters. And so it's like, it gave me a framework to be like, oh, I understand this character and what they're like. And so now that you're telling me, like, that's Aries coded or whatever, like, that makes sense to me. So that was, like, the gateway for me to, like, make it make sense in my brain was, like, which makes sense because people learn when they, like, add to a framework where it's, like, you need to, like, see where it makes sense for you. You can't just, like, just do it just because. Oh, this light keeps turning off. Let me turn that back on. So...
There we go.
Now you can see us. It's not like a vampire's cave.
But we are going to be chatting about some vampire shit today.
Yes, actually, so true. The light just randomly, I think it's the plug or whatever. So if it keeps turning off, we'll fix it. But I'm like, no, you can see all my pimples. I'm getting self-conscious. Yeah, so it was easier for me because it was like, I have all of this stored in my brain already, and now I can just add to the knowledge of this that already makes sense. Because, like, astrology is a huge thing complex to learn. Yeah, so, like, that's how I learned, like, the zodiac signs was through, like, pop culture stuff. And then once I started getting more comfortable in that, then I started following, like, hardcore, like, you know, the type of astrologers that will post, like breakdowns of like these are the most like business oriented placements or like these are like the most transformation, like where they really did like deep dives or like this is like the energy of Jupiter and like they would deep dive into it. And because I already knew the other stuff, I was like, this makes sense now, like that like tracks in my brain. Because before I would look at stuff and be like, I don't get it. Like, why are they saying this is Taurus? Like, I don't know what Taurus means, you know? So, yeah, I started with that, and then I did, like, my own, like, self-study stuff. Like, I just started, like...
you can learn so much. If you're listening and you want to learn about astrology, you can learn so much just by self-studying. Like, it is wild how much money I spent on courses, and then sitting in the course, like... I already know all of this.
But you're like one line, so it's like one lines. If you're a human design one line, they love to learn the traditional way, like with a mentor, with a book, with all a course. And they always convince themselves that they don't know enough. Yeah. And so like when you were in you were like in that and you're like, wait a minute. I know all this. It
pissed me off. I'm like, dude, why did I spend all this money?
I would have asked for a refund.
I did for one of the courses.
Good.
Actually, I was like, what is this? This is like don't talk to me like I'm a baby.
What? Their clients were probably like beginners. Like beginners. Yeah. Because I find like if you make it like in layman's terms or like muggle terms, like I like to say, then it's like easier. But like whenever I'm like in the 8th house or like, you know, Virgo rising, and people are like, you lost me, dude. Like the brain, I've learned when you're, you know, people who fall asleep when you're reading, I used to be like this. When your brain reads something that it doesn't understand, like a new word or like if you're talking about 8th house placements and you're like, what the fuck is that? It actually shuts down. And so that's why a lot of people fall asleep when they're reading, because they read like too many words that they don't know without looking them up. And so then their brain is like, and it like shuts down.
That's so interesting. My brain is like, let me figure this out. Let me look up what
if you
that
give
means.
yourself, but that's how you keep going, is like you have to look it up.
That's the one line though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then like once you look it up, then your brain will keep going, because you're like, now I know what goes here, and it's not just like gray black space that doesn't make sense to me.
And there's so many ways of learning, right? So if you're listening to this, honor the way that is suitable for you to learn.
Yes.
Like, that's so important, because I couldn't learn that way just by looking at pop culture stuff.
Yeah, self-studying. No.
But you also couldn't learn how I learned.
Exactly. Like I would buy the course and fucking never do it.
Yeah.
I caught myself early on, but I feel like there's like 3 courses that I was like, yeah, and then never followed through. Like people would be like, do the homework. I'm like, homework? No.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it early so I have the homework done.
I would be like doing my homework for the next class in the previous class. Like,
that would stress me out.
I would be like, I don't want to waste my free time. I'll do this in this class that like the teacher doesn't fucking teach anything, so I'm just gonna get it done.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That was the culture in my school's like really competitive too, so it was crazy. And my claim to fame, my ego won't let me not say it. The valedictorian cheated off of me in AP economics, in the actual exam for AP economics. So like, I think it was like macro. I can't remember if it was macro or micro, but
on purpose, like you purposely let
like
them...
they turned around and they were like, what would you put for this answer? And I was like, here you go. I would let people cheat on me, cheat off of my work all the time. Like, I didn't give a shit. Like, I'm not one of those, like, I got straight A's. Like, I had a 4.3 when I graduated. But I'm not one of those, like, you need to learn it the right way. You know, like, I'm not a stickler nerd person. Like, actually, kids thought, when they found out I got straight A's, they would be shocked. They thought I was, like, a stoner kid. Because, like, I was, like, rockish. I didn't actually smoke in high school. I was very straight edge because my stepdad's a alcoholic and, like, drug addict. So I was like, no. And my dad used to sell drugs, and they both, like, smoke weed. So I was like, no. But, like, when people found out I got straight A's, they'd be like, really? Because I would hang out with, like, the theater or, like, the, like, whatever kids and, like, the popular kids or what, you know, like, the weirdo kids.
Would be smoking on the...
Yeah. Like, I would hang out with all the weird kids and they were, like, shocked when I was like, no, dude, I take this seriously. Like, I get straight A's in this bitch. Like, but I also got straight A's because my teenage self was like, I hate where I live and I want to move out when I'm 18, and like the only pathway that made sense to me was like, get really good grades so you can get into college so you can live on campus. Like my brain was like,
that's also what's fed to us in our society.
Yes, the college, but like for me it was like, but no matter where I go, I'm gonna live on campus. Like I'm gonna get enough like aid or whatever so that I could live on campus. Like I was like, I'm not going to community college. Like I was like, no, I'm not staying at home. So I was very committed to that. Also, I'm just like, I'm competitive as fuck. So give me a challenge and I'll, like, Aries moon. I'm like, give me a challenge and I will overcome it. Like I started arguing with Frankie the other day because he knows that I'm like this. So he tries to like throw in stuff to get me going. And we were like just sitting down to eat dinner at the end of the day. And he, like, said something to get me going, like, to make me competitive. And I was like, why would you do this? And he's all laughing. He's like, I love when you get like this. It's funny to me. It's in-flight entertainment
Lighting
for me.
The fire.
Yeah, and he's like, you know that you're like this. And I was like, I know, but, like, I want to relax right now. Like, I'm sitting down to eat dinner. Like, why are you trying to start a competition with me that I have to do right now? Like, I will do it. And he was like, oh. And I was like, you're throwing down the gauntlet. And, like, I will accept. But, like, come on. I'm trying to eat my dinner. This is so funny. I was like, don't try this with me. Do not. So, yeah, I'm known as a sore winner and a sore loser.
That's why it's surprising to me that you would let people cheat and not care, because
school wasn't competition for me, though. Like, I don't see, like, education as competition.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't one of those kids that, like, wanted to set the curve, like, and get the highest score. I was like, I just want to do my shit and be done with it.
I don't know. I feel like maybe I did. Like, wanting to get good grades or at least be in, like, the honor student. Or, like, in my program, I graduated top of my class, and I'm really proud of myself for that. So I do think
I did. Like, in college, I graduated, like, summa cum laude or whatever. But, like, that wasn't... For me, like, that wasn't where the competition was. Like, I wanted people to like me. Or I wanted to be, like, have good friends or be popular. Or whatever. Not, like, I didn't want to be popular, but I wanted to have, like, people want to hang out with me and shit. So, yeah, interesting that... I don't see that... I played sports. That's the competition. Like, I played softball. But, yeah, I think I give... The competition is more for me. It's like, I need to prove that I can do this. I can be the best or whatever. So it's not like with others.
Yeah. Same for school, at least. It was like, I want to do this for my own well-being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, kids would cheat off of me all the time. I also was really desperate for friendship, so I would let kids cheat off of me so that they would be my friend. And I, like, knew that they would pretend to be my friend. Like, I was still, like, intuitive. Like, I was like, there was, like, this, like, Korean kid that I had a crush on, and he would cheat off of me, him and his friends, and I would let him because I liked him. So I was like, oh, like, he's talking to me, and he might become my friend because he's cheating off of me. And then, like, I was, like, still realistic at the same time where I was like, I know he's not actually my friend, and he just, like, pretends to be nice to me so that, like, he could cheat off of me. But I was like, if he doesn't want to be nice to me, I'll still let him cheat. Like, I don't care. Like, I just didn't care.
Yeah. I would care.
I mean, I would cheat off of other people, too.
Oh, hell no. I think I was too much of a goody two-shoes in school.
I mean, the things that I cheated off of people was, like, homework.
Yeah.
Like, your homework paper that, you know, like, it wasn't, like, crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I got caught cheating in French class. Jupiter First House had no repercussions. My teacher was like, you're a really good student. I was the only student that fucking, like, cared in that class because I really wanted to learn French. Everyone was like, I just had to take an elective, so I'm fucking here. And, like, I would answer and, like, try and do that. Like, she liked me as a student, so then when she caught me cheating, she was like, I know that you just want to do well in this class, and, like, you actually truly care about the content, so, like, just don't do it. And I was, like, going in, like, I'm gonna get, like, expelled for cheating or something, and she was like, just don't do it again. Like, I feel like she was like, I don't want to lose my best student. The only student that cares about this shit.
Oh my god. That is wild. Yeah, no, it would stress me out to cheat or have people cheat off of me. I would not like that.
I'm like, let's all share the fucking knowledge. I didn't take, like, a lot of school seriously because I felt like the way that they taught it was a joke, you know? Like, it was like, our English teacher was the one that I would cheat the most. Like, we would all share the homework, like, paper around with, like, one person would do the homework and then we just all she just, like, was so checked out. She was like, yeah, you're gonna be taking your SATs, but, like, here, just learn these vocabulary words. So we were all like, oh, there's, like, and then she'd be like, we're gonna watch, like, Romeo and Juliet today, like, the movie.
Yeah. I guess, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but my first few years of high school, I did an audition, and I was accepted into St. Paul Conservatory for Performing Arts, which used to be at the Landmark Center in St. Paul, which, if you are familiar with St. Paul, it's
Shout out to the St. Paul people.
Beautiful castle in the St. Paul area. And so my school was literally like a college campus because we would have classes there. We would have classes at the Excel Center, classes at the Science Museum, classes at other buildings.
That's cool.
And it was a very small, like, you had to audition to get in. So it was a very small, like, everyone knew each other. I was in the musical theater track, and then I switched to the theater track. So my school wasn't, like, normal for the first few years of high school.
Yeah.
It
We had magnets at my school. I was in the medical magnet, but we had a theater magnet. Our claim to fame, Joseph Gordon-Levitt went to our school. And when I was going to school there, he came to teach, like, the theater kids, like, a class.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
He was hot during that time.
My childhood crush.
Yeah, it was, like, 500 Days of Summer time.
So cute.
And, like, literally, it was, like, throughout the entire school, like, every kid was, like, how do I get out of class? Like, there was just kids, like, roaming around near the theater, near the auditorium, like, just seeing, like, if they could get a spot, like, can I see him? Can I look at him?
One of my teachers taught Amy Adams.
Yeah, I know. It was like Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Marilyn Monroe went to our school. Yeah, like they know like the locker that she used. It was like known in our school.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, but I think she went to like multiple. I think she like went to different high schools. So I think she went to like ours and like one other or two others or something like that. But yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So we were like,
so cute.
He went to our high school.
So cute.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy when you grow up in Los Angeles. I know we talked about my middle school and like Akeelah and the Bee being filmed there.
Oh my
My
gosh.
high school, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, was filmed there. The like bleachers in Fast Times at Ridgemont High is my high school.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with it. My college had a lot of stuff because it's in Burbank, so yeah. The fucking Parenthood was filmed at my college. A lot.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's like a very famous, like, I don't watch it either. I'm like, I don't know, I just want
I'm like, Parenthood, what?
It's like a CBS, like, sitcom show about families.
Well, nowadays, we'll get $5,000 if we become parents and a Medal of Honor.
A Medal of Honor!
Like,
it's like, destroyed my body for these kids! I have a medal to show it. Oh my god, don't get me started.
$5,000 won't cover shit in these streets. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like your diapers. With the tariffs, your one thing of milk and one thing of diapers, $5,000.
Oh my god. Okay, we're getting so off topic. We're gonna talk about a movie I saw recently.
And
that
I'm
Love
going
has
to
not
be
seen
seeing
yet.
soon.
But everyone definitely needs to see this movie. I'm not like a horror movie person.
Yeah.
And we talked about this.
Yeah.
I don't really
And you
like...
hate vampires. Not to say that part at least.
Oh, I'm traumatized.
Okay, when you're comfortable saying.
So I have always had like a weird thing with vampires. Like for a while I didn't even want to acknowledge the lore of vampires. Like I was like, yeah, vampires, they became a thing with Dracula like only in the 1800s. It's like not real. But it was my subconscious.
No. It's like the chupacabra.
Josh one time looked at me and he said, I feel like you died from a vampire.
This internal debate about vampire lore.
What is happening right now?
Published in 1897, really simplified the image of the vampire.
Wait, do y'all hear that?
As we know it today.
My phone.
Aristocratic bloodsucker with a thirst for human life definitely took center stage then.
It's
What
just
the
started
hell?
talking about vampire
It started
lore.
recording when you said I've always had a weird thing with vampires.
This is like very fucking weird.
The AI just started I don't use the AI normally either.
That was so strange. Her phone's like, your phone's like way over here. Like what's happening?
Spirit, dude, it's true. That
true.
vampire's like, girl, I hear you talking about me and I'm coming for you.
Yeah, Josh was like, he looked at me and he said, I feel like you died from a vampire in a past life. And I like had tears I had tears started to form in my eyes. I was like, oh my god, no. But I feel like that's truth. And then I told Love, and Love is like, yeah, I have chills. And
I'm like, I want to be low-key. I know it's like you're traumatized, but I want to be the vampire that killed you because I just want to be a vampire. I want to be a vampire so bad. It keeps, the lights are off! I'm going to be a vampire in this lifetime. I know it.
No. I honestly don't care that much. I'm like, I will just die and reincarnate. And remember my past lives. like I've done in this lifetime. Because I don't care that much about being immortal. Especially if it means that I have to feed off of the life force of other beings.
It's not about being immortal for me. It's about the power because, okay, so in college, I took a class about, in art history, about the psychology of horror, because I loved horror movies and true crime and all those things. Like, I went to medical magnet school. I wanted to be a pathologist. I wanted to be a coroner. I wanted to cut open dead people. Like, I have my sun in the 8th house, in the house of Scorpio, death and life and transformation, and my North Node in Scorpio in the 12th house of the subconscious. Like, I love spooky shit. And I feel comfortable in spooky shit.
You think I would with my ruling planet in the 8th house.
Right. And
it's like I like the occult side. I like the mystery side.
Yes, I like all of it.
But the gore and shit?
When my stepdad, like, cut his finger open on a table saw and they brought him to the hospital, they made sure to take a photo for me because they knew that I wanted to see what it looked like.
Hell no.
Like, I volunteered in the hospital and asked to go to the morgue, and I saw, like, a dead old man and a dead baby. Like, a stillbirth.
I did go to the cadaver lab. My program for massage is the only program in the U.S. that they go to the cadaver lab.
I wanted to, when I died, donate my body to the Body Farm in Tennessee. And they like get people's bodies and they put them in like weird like decomposition things in nature to study them for like true crime stuff. Yeah. Like, I'm into all that shit. So anyways, it's not about the immortality for me, actually.
Interesting.
It's in that class we learned what do vampires. So in that class we looked at horror movie trends throughout time and what was going on for humans, like societally in that time. And when Dracula came out, there was this trend of like America's enemy was like one figure. It was like one country, one person, so it was like this mysterious figure that could come and like take power over you. And like, so they talk about the reason why vampires are so sexy for people is because they represent transformation. The thing that they feed off of is life force. They feed off of your blood. Yeah. And so when they like bite you, it's like such an intimate place where they bite you on your neck.
I literally have, you see that?
Oh, you were killed by a vampire in a past life.
Wait, I don't know if y'all can see that.
Here, yeah, right there. So they say like if you're born with birthmarks, they can indicate how you died in a past life. Tylynn literally has like 2 moles, like just like vampire bites, like already on her neck.
Scary, dude. No.
Girl. This is the coolest shit of my life. Okay, so they talk about like the sexual.
Oh my god!
Why keep turning off? It is possessed today. What the hell?
It never has ever done that with all of our episodes.
Girl, these vampires are present. Okay. Can you let us record, please, vampires? Please. Thank you. I'm like so annoyed. I'm like, girl, come on. You're like, I'm scared.
I'm scared.
I'm like, just calm down for like 5 minutes, please. So they talk about like the reason why vampires are so attractive is they hold the power to kill you, but then they don't, right? So it's like that's a whole trope of like being coveted by something that could hurt you but cares only about you. They have they use like seduction, right? They use like mind control. They use like senses playing tricks on you. Yeah. And like the act of like drawing someone's blood is very intimate and very sexual in nature. People don't realize there's a fine line between sex and gore and like sex or like icky stuff, right? Because like bodily functions, like, you know, when we have sex, we secrete things.
It's like fear and excitement, how it's the same emotional response, or it's the same things
physiological thing in your body. Yes, for fear or excitement. So there's like this like seductive, and they're like young all the time, and they're beautiful and they're powerful, and like so like I've always been obsessed with like vampires and witches.
You're gonna love this movie.
I know.
You're gonna love
I watch all the vampire stuff pretty much, like unless I think it's like I watch a lot. I have a vampire tattoo. Like I have vampire teeth tattooed on me. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna try swapping the. I think it's the like plug can't sustain this guy. Oh, you know what? It's not all the way in. Yeah. Here, I think it'll work now. It wasn't plugged all the way in. I think it just wasn't getting enough power. I also went to school for like computer programming, so I'm like, even though I know like all the metaphysical stuff, I'm like, I think this is like a real thing. So yeah, there's like so much wrapped in the vampire of like being powerful, they're so strong, right? They're all these like, it's very sexy to have these qualities.
Yeah.
When I talk about like archetypes, I'm like, the archetype of like Scorpio is a vampire, right? Like this they can transform you from human to immortal.
Yeah.
You know?
But I also feel like real vampires, they're not, I feel like there's a hierarchy within real vampires.
Yes.
And I
we
do
see
not
that in the
think
movies.
that they are allowed to just turn anyone.
Yes.
I feel like there
a lot of
has to
lores
be
talks about that.
a process or some shit. Like
yes. So there are some lores where like you can just boom, you like bite some. There's some where it's like you get bitten and you become a vampire. There's some where like they have to like choose their they call them like offspring or progeny.
Yeah.
They choose it because it's like you're now choosing to live and have this bond with this person for eternal, like forever until you two die, right? And so it's a big undertaking in a lot of lores for a vampire to, they call it like raise a baby vampire, because there are like things that you have to like move through as you're changing, that you have to adjust to.
But is it true though, if you are bitten, that you just become a vampire?
It depends on the lore. It depends on the lore.
Because
most of the lores, you have to be bitten, and then they have to drain all of your blood from your body.
Yeah.
And then they have to feed you their blood right after your blood is.
Because I feel like there are humans that. This is why I do not want to travel to Louisiana. Point blank, I don't want to travel there because I feel like
and I were literally talking about wanting how bad we want to go to New Orleans. Yes.
But I feel like there are people that willingly sacrifice themselves, and it's like a kink for them.
Yeah.
But then they just get bit repeatedly.
Yes.
But they don't become a vampire.
So that's also part of the lore.
Yeah.
That they're called like vampire fuckers, or like blood. In True Blood, they're called fang bangers.
I need to watch that show.
I have the book series. It's way better if you want to read the book series. It's spicy.
Okay.
It's not all vampires either. It's like fairies and shapeshifters too.
I'm always down for fairy shit.
Yeah. It's different. It's different than Aquatar fairies, but it is fairies. So there are some lores where they even take it an extra step, where you have to drain the blood, give them your blood, and then bury them underground.
Yeah.
So there's in a sacred ground, or like different. So there's different, all different. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's people who like, if you watch What We Do in the Shadows, it's like a comedy, so it won't be so jarring for you. They have like, there's a whole lore around like humans that want to be turned into vampires, so they seek out a vampire and they become like they're called their familiar, and they basically are like a human that does, it's like their bitch boy, like they like do that's how they treat them. That's the whole thing, is like they're so desperate to be a vampire that they'll like get groceries for me, like do the shit where I can't when the sun is up, pay my bills for my home, like make it look like there's nothing like suspicious going on here, cover up my deaths. Like they go out and they find sacrifices for vampires to feed on, and they bring them like knowing that they're gonna get killed and shit like that. So yeah, that is, and the whole thing is like with the familiars, like they hope to be turned into a vampire, but usually like in the lore, the vampire will string them on. Nar. I'm gonna put it in a different outlet then. I think. Let me try my other theory. Was that this isn't powerful enough to sustain the light, because I usually use this guy to plug it in, and I swapped it today. Oh my god, this episode.
Sorry, sorcerers. This is the first time this has ever happened. Like,
we're in at home. Yeah, feel how hot this thing is. I think it was just too much electricity.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Whew.
It's not vampires. Don't be scared, Tylynn. Come on.
I still am scared.
Tylynn.
So it's saying a lot that I enjoyed this movie Sinners when I already have like this weird shit in my soul around vampires. It is saying a lot that I enjoyed this movie as much as I did.
And I'll watch most.
So,
yeah. So yeah, there's so much lore, and yeah, it really depends. Like Dracula has like the most intense lore and stuff, and then the modern vampires like fucking Twilight and shit. Like they can walk in the day, but they like shimmer, you know? Like so it's like different things like that. So
yeah, there's lots of stuff like they can't eat garlic, they
can't
don't
eat
like
food,
holy water, or they can't Or
if they eat any
or
food.
if their like garlic water is thrown on them.
Yes, it's the garlic, the cross, silver, wooden stakes. But yeah, they in some wars they can like eat food, but it doesn't do anything for them. In some they eat food and they throw up and they're sick or like it hurts them. So there's some where it's like they're repulsed by garlic, and then some it's like they just don't like it, and then some it's like, oh, it's fake, we just created. Like there's a lot of lore about vampires where it's like they have themselves created fake things for humans to like focus on, so that they think like, oh, if I just use this, like then I'll be protected for a vampire, and then vampires are like, nah, psyched you out, like this really doesn't bother us, like we just tell humans that so they can feel safe. So a lot of like vampire stuff has that, like a lot of media that shows vampires, because I think that the media has some truth in it.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason why because there's ancient cultures that before Dracula in America that had like chupacabra, and I know Filipino culture has like it's like a dead baby.
Cultures all around the world.
Yeah, have vampires.
Now that I like looked into it.
Yeah. There's like there's a lot. I think African has.
Yes.
There's a lot of cultures that believe in some kind of like vampire.
Yeah. Scary.
I'm like sick. You're like scary.
I don't play with that stuff.
Okay, so Sinners is a really good movie.
But it's a really good movie because there's a lot of tropes in it, and you also feel like you're transported to that time period, which I really appreciate about time period movies. And then you also get like a little glimpse at the end in another time period later on, which also was like very accurate to the vibe of that time. And so I just appreciate movies that are well done, and I appreciate just like all the things that go into behind the scenes, right? Like the setting, the props, the costumes, all of that I feel like really amplifies a movie. And then when you have amazing actors and actresses telling the story, you're just drawn in. Like the whole time I was just drawn into the movie, and I really
like a vampire enthralls you.
Yes, I feel like that's the seductive energy of the vampire frequency. But that's even before we got there, like the trope about the music and just like the sound, like I've literally already added songs from the playlist onto my playlist because they're so
I love a good soundtrack.
good.
Yeah.
And I think that is also what makes this movie so special is the music piece.
I feel like you're describing like what a filmmaker would talk about movies. Like, you know, it's like you're literally like, it's the music, it's the acting, it's the time period, it's the props, it's the costume. It's like, yes, that's what a movie is. It's just, I know like you're saying like it was really well executed, but it's just funny when you're hearing it. I'm like, yeah, those are things that people like about movies.
But sometimes it's not.
Well, that's what makes a good movie is like when all
like
that coalesces
they might
together.
have the stuff present, but it's not a well done movie. Or the acting's like, we're talking about vampire movies like Twilight. Those are not good movies in my opinion. Come at me, sorciers. Like, what are those movies?
I'm scared. I didn't read. I'm one of those kids who, if something is too trendy, I won't. I like to be individual. Something I like satirizing. I'm like, it's too chalked up. I won't go near it. So I didn't read Twilight when it came out, when I was in like middle school or whatever.
I read it in middle school.
And like my teacher even read it and was like, so kids who read Twilight. And I avoided that shit like the plague because I just don't like to do stuff when it's trendy. I like to do it like when I'm on my own terms.
But yet you've read Avatar.
Yes, but I found it like not
before it became trendy.
And like, yeah, I found it like at the bookstore, but like I also wasn't like around a lot of people that were like, you should read this. Like this is really good, you know. Like I was like, oh, I found it myself. So I am like a lot of the time like being a 5-line, you can be you're a trendsetter, like you're ahead of the trend and having close taste as well. But like So, like, there's all that kind of stuff, but, or not close days, having markets, you tend to be trendy, for your environment.
We both have markets.
In human design. So, so I didn't read it, and then the movies came out, and then I was like, no, because they were way overhyped, and, like, I didn't think Edward Cullen was hot, you know? Like, I was like, he's pasty. It's, like, weird. And it's funny, I like vampires, but not for, like, the sexual part.
But Robert Pattinson is an amazing actor.
I love him now. I love him now. And you know what's funny?
Talented.
There was a whole, like, press junket that they did for Twilight where he was like, girls, stop being attracted to me. Edward Cullen is no, he literally was like, Edward Cullen is a piece of shit.
Yes!
Like, stop liking him. He, like, stalked this young child, and, like, he literally in the thing was like, I really wanted to do this movie, but now that I've done it, like, and I realize how much people like it, he was like, this isn't healthy. Like, people shouldn't be into this. It was so funny.
Yeah,
so
also,
I gained more respect for him because he said that.
Also, the weird shit with Jacob and their daughter.
Yeah.
And, like,
okay.
What is happening?
So here's the thing. I never read the books. I've only watched, I think, the first 3 movies because of that. Because when it gets to the part with the kid and then knowing that, like, Jacob imprints on her, I'm just like, I don't want to watch that. Because I had, like, grooming when I was a kid. So I was like, no, not for me. Like, it became too, like, when it's, like, too outrageous and I'm not, like, buying into the outrageousness, I'm like, nah. So I know a lot of what happens, but I do actually really like the first and second movies, but I like them in, like, a campy way. Like, it's, like, a nostalgia, fun, like, campy way. Like, I'm not like, it's cinematic masterpiece.
You just laugh at it.
Yes.
Because it's like, what
it's like,
is this?
This is the skin of a killer.
You know what? A vampire movie I watched a lot as a kid, though? It was, like, something that was on a lot in our house. The Lost Boys. And actually,
and that one's kind of
that
gory.
song in my is like, it gets stuck in my head every now and again.
And we went to Santa Cruz. The Santa Cruz Pier is where they filmed that. So when we were there, Frankie was like, oh.
Yeah.
They do in What We Do in the Shadows, they do, like, a spoof scene where they, like, turn the can of food into, like, worms or something.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a classic.
But that one is 80s vampires, and I feel like in 80s vampires, they were still, like, icky. Like, the Lost Boys were not, like, sexy. Like, people found them sexy.
Because they were the bad boys.
Yes, but they weren't, like, sold to you as sex icons. Like, how, like, Edward Cullen is, like, sexy coded, you know?
I don't get it.
I don't know, man. I watched the sexy vampire one, which is True Blood, so.
Okay. Maybe that should be something I should watch.
You might like Stephen Moyer. It's actually cool. So the love interest, Stephen Moyer is the actor's name. Bill Compton is his character. And Sookie Stackhouse is the main character. And she's Anna Paquin is the actress. They're actually married in real life.
Oh.
So it's kind of sick because, like, they're, like, love scenes together. It's, like, you, like, know it's real. You're like, oh, but they fuck on the regular. So, like.
I do appreciate that in art, the chemistry, if it's there and it's palpable.
Yeah, it's nice because they have, like, good chemistry.
Yeah.
It has a lot of hot people. Stephen Moyer, Alexander Skarsgård, Joe Manganiello. He's, like.
All these names are
really
just
okay. I could see it in your mind. You're like, I don't know what this is. I feel like you like Joe Manganiello because you like Taurus coded people. Manganiello, I don't know, but, like, he plays a werewolf, and he has, like, that kind of aesthetic. No,
I'm not attracted to him, but.
Let's see.
I feel like he looks familiar.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
He's in How I Met Your Mother.
This is Stephen.
The guy Marshall Beefs with.
Yes, he's in that show.
Definitely not attracted to.
Yeah, I'm not attracted to Stephen Moyer. my fave in this show is Alexander Skarsgård.
Any, like, white guy though, I'm
not attracted to white guys either. I was attracted to him because his character. It was his character. Like, in normal daily life, I'm like, eh. But, like, when his character, I like the, like, really bad for you bad boys that, like, don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I was into him. I was like, ooh. Like, he was, like, a true vampire in the beginning where he was like, who cares about humans? Yeah. They're beneath me. And I was like, God. Hot. This is hot.
That's traumatic. Like, I don't even know how to get inside of your mind with that thought process.
I've analyzed. It's definitely from my traumas and stuff. But I'm not like attracted to that now. You know,
Yeah.
like it's like in a fantasy way, but not in a real world way.
In a fantasy way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why I like Rice
Yeah.
Sand, because I feel like he's kind of like that in the beginning, and then he became regular,
Yeah.
and I was like, ew.
No, he's a villain.
In the beginning, he was very villain coded, but then he was like, but I care about you, and I want to be there for you and empower you, and like you're my queen, and like all, like he does like really like stuff like that. So like
I feel like their relationship is built off of lust, though.
in the beginning,
It's-
yeah,
yeah.
it was very that because they didn't know each other.
We're losing our audience now. We're talking about Akatar. They're like, what is happening?
Just like we need to make a separate podcast
All about Akatar.
just for like pop culture
And-
shit.
Yeah, and books.
But I think it's all connected. It's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't ask this before we started recording, but do you want to do like the chart for the movie?
We can. I was thinking the chart for the two main.
I mean,
Yeah.
but also.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
But you can. I mean, for our listeners, like, if you're curious about the chart for if you're wanting to put out a project or if you are starting a business, you can pull up a chart for that, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
I love the chart for Temple Radiance. It's like so Temple Radiance.
Yeah.
The chart.
I think I looked up the chart for my original business, not what it is now, and I think it's like a Capricorn. I was like, girl. Okay. Like that tracks. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, you can see charts for if you're like launching a show, releasing a book, starting a nonprofit, like everything can have a chart.
Yep.
It's really cool.
And you can purposely set the time. Like a lot of people do this
electional
for
astrology is what it's called.
Weddings, especially.
They pick electional astrology is when you pick auspicious dates to do things. So I've done that. I had a client that they did electional astrology with me because they were launching like a series on YouTube that they like recorded and wrote all themselves and like acted in, and they were trying to use it to like get into the industry. And so they were like, I want to launch it like on a day astrologically that like will pop off. And so we looked in the time frame and then we found like the best day.
Yeah, and there's a lot of pieces to that.
Yeah. Because it's like, what are your goals?
What are your goals?
And how do we find a date that like supports those goals?
Yeah, like if it's like distributing an idea, we might want to look at a Wednesday.
A Mercury day. Mercury rules
and
Wednesday.
we also might want to look at how can we get Mercury in the first house, Mercury rejoicing there, depending on the time frame, right?
Or
and
like a Jupiter to expand your ideas.
Yep. And we also, for electional astrology, we always want to look at the moon. What is the moon doing? Because the moon, she shifts so quickly. So if she's like in Scorpio square Mercury,
we don't want to have like difficult placements like impacting your stuff. It was I even sometimes, it depends on the thing, I'll look at like part of fortune, like if you're trying to make money or something, have luck. There's some good stuff. And a lot of people do it for weddings. That's why people get married on like 8/8 and like numerology. They look at it from that standpoint.
So
but
many people get married on Lionsgate.
Yes, the 8/8 portal. I wonder if they're
Which
Leos.
is when Freaky Friday is coming out.
Oh.
So maybe we'll look at Lindsay Lohan's and Jamie Lee Curtis's charts if we can find their birth times.
You mean there's another one?
Yes, a reboot of Freaky Friday.
But like
Where
with
have
the
you been?
same people?
Yes, Lindsay Lohan and
I'm
Jamie
excited.
Lee
Is it like the child of
I
Lindsay
think the
Lohan?
reason I know all this stuff about movies is because of Josh.
Yeah,
like he
I'm not tapped in.
has his own YouTube channel where he like makes videos about movies. Like
Frankie gets all these news alerts and then he tells me, and then I'm like, oh cool. Like he'll be like, I know you like this, so here's what's, and I'm like, thank you.
I can't believe you didn't know about Freaky Friday reboot.
I mean, I probably would have figured it out when it got closer. But that's really cool. I love the original. Well, not the original. The original one with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. That one is such a vibe.
My
the
sister
songs in that
loved
movie.
that soundtrack.
That soundtrack is
She would
everything.
go sulk and listen to that song, staring
Yes.
in my coffee cup. She'd be like on this like trunk that we would have like play dresses in and just be like in the basement like staring at my
Oh my god. For me, it's like the Aries moon. It was like the main song. It's like, you're it. You're the ultimate. I'm like, hell yeah, I am. Like, repeat, play again. One song on repeat setting, like on the Spotify. Like, repeat.
Yeah, such a good playlist. So, yeah, that's coming out.
Wow. We'll do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can pick all the things. You can even see like bad days. So the thing is with electional astrology, just to wrap that up before we get into the actors charts in the Sinners movie, you can do anything anytime when you want to. We all have free will. Yeah. It's just we're now taking the energy of what already is happening and we're using it to help us get to where we want to go, to make it easier. So like people will use their astrology to know like the best time to sell their house or the best time to buy a car or invest money. They use electional astrology for a lot of that stuff because it's like, yeah, you could sell your house whenever you want, but it maybe if you list it on the market on this day, it'll sell immediately. Or like you get the most amount of money out of what you're trying to sell your house. You know, like, so it's more about that. It's like, it'll be easier. We're looking for days where it'll be more successful or easier, whatever outcome you want.
Yes. And there's also nuances there around your chart with the chart that you're attempting to set that date for. Because like if you are wanting to work with Venusian energy, but then your own Venus is in detriment, I'm just saying my Venus is in Aries, that might not be the most aligned route. So there's a lot. Maybe we could do a whole episode on that.
It depends how personal the project is. If it's like you acting and doing a thing in it, then maybe not that. But if you're like launching a business where like you're like the CEO, but there's so many other people, then maybe it's okay. You know, because there's other players at hand. But yeah, if you're trying to do like Venus wedding vibes.
And then your own Venus is in detriment.
Unless your partner has a really good Venus placement.
No, his Venus is in fall.
So, oh, really?
Josh has Venus in Virgo, yeah. But Venus rejoicing in the 5th house, so there's that.
Frankie has Taurus Venus.
Oh my god, that's the best.
Yeah, I'm regular. I don't have good or bad. I'm Gemini Venus. It's like not in fall or detriment, but it's not exalted or at home. It's just a normal one. It's like Venus is like, I could be okay
Venus
with this.
Times all the flirtiness and like
it's the words.
Love
it's like let
of
me
adaptability.
Yes. Learning all the things, culture, other cultures.
Yeah.
They say if you have Gemini Venus, then it can be an indication that you will like marry or have a partner that's a different culture than you.
Yes.
And my partner is Latino and indigenous, so I'm like, this tracks.
I love it. So yeah, let's dive into.
So the two main actors in this Sinners movie is Michael B. Jordan. I wish we could insert like a sound, like my shitty whistling. And what is the other lady's name?
Hailee Steinfeld.
Hailee Steinfeld is new to me, so she's been in a lot of Marvel stuff. You know her from the Emily Dickinson show.
Oh my gosh. Y'all, if you are queer and you have not seen Emily Dickinson yet, and if you also love like poetry. What are you doing? Watch that show.
She's like the queen of like depression and existential dread and longing and nostalgia.
I just love it so much. I literally watched it twice. Like I watched it by myself and then I was like, Josh, you need to see this show. So I rewatched it with him. And I would rewatch it again. It's so good.
Like, I stand on this.
So good.
So Michael B. Jordan, I didn't say what other stuff he's been in because I feel like he's famous enough that like most people know him.
Black Panther, Creed.
Like he's been in like Black Panther, a Disney fucking like what is her name again? Sorry, I already forgot it.
Hailee.
She's been in Marvel, but it's like I think she did like voice acting in Spider-Man or like things like I don't know. She's not like the star, the big player.
I think she was a music artist first because she has that song. I didn't know that I was starving till I tasted you. You never heard that song?
Never.
Don't need no. Or she also has that song that's like, most girls.
No. I don't listen to a lot of like soft indie stuff. My Aries moon needs a strong bass.
Well, that was at the time when like the radio was still like.
Oh, so yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
My mom listened to one station and one station only. Coast 103.5. Love songs on the coast for all my California, Los Angeles natives. It was just like love songs, like old timey, like Celine Dion and like easy listening.
Yeah.
So my mom doesn't like music. And
how do you not like music?
Frankie says he doesn't trust people who don't like music. He thinks there's something wrong, like they're like a sociopath. My mom doesn't care. My dad took my mom to a Bruce Springsteen concert back in the day before I was born. She just sat with her arms crossed the whole time and never got up, never sang, never like. And he was like, my dad's like a huge music lover. Like he was a Deadhead. He went to all the concerts and shit.
Yeah, I agree with that's.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like if you don't like music, what's wrong with you?
Yeah,
like there's something wrong with you.
Music is the through line for all cultures.
Yeah.
Music is
Literally
what unites our souls.
Yeah. My mom was like, I like music, but I just like dance to the beat. Like she likes disco music, but she couldn't name a single, like tell her to name a band, name a song. She doesn't listen. The only time we would listen to music in my house was when she was like cleaning the house. I had to learn music from like my stepdad. It was very weird. It got to the point where I bought her CDs to play in the car because I didn't want to listen to the love songs on the coast anymore.
Wow. Meanwhile, like my dad would like always be like, who sings this song? Like we would
yes,
play
my dad
that
is like
game
that.
of,
He's like, do you know this song?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad's like that. But I didn't really grow up with him. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned music from my friends. It was weird.
Yeah.
Okay, we're procrastinating.
But music is a big part of this movie, Sinners.
That's true.
So
that's our excuse.
yes, like they talk about how some people have this gift of music and it essentially brings in people from the past and people from the future. And it's creating this like enchanting aura which is attractive to the evil like vampires.
Oh, in the movie. I was like, where is this theory going? I was like, from the past and the future. I was like,
yes, because they have a really cool scene where yes, people from the past and people from the future come in and it's phenomenal the way that they do it and the way that they kind of bring in different cultural aspects too. And I feel that is true. Like some people genuinely have this gift in their heart with music and you feel that palpably. If you have ever gone to a concert and it's like you're just enchanted, that is that gift. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're getting like so off topic. Let's go into his chart.
Okay, Michael B. Jordan's chart.
Okay, so
he has a kite.
His big three, he's an Aquarius sun. He is a Cancer moon, domicile
That's
moon.
where the round face comes from. Okay.
Conjunct Lilith, actually. His moon's conjunct Lilith.
That's where the sexiness comes from. No, because people think he's like hot as fuck. Like the perception of being sexy.
And then he is a Virgo rising.
Oh.
His ascendant is at 26 degrees Virgo. So meaning
Late
that...
degree.
Yeah, it's in the third decan of Virgo, a decan ruled by Mercury, which is where Mercury exalts in the sign of Virgo. And it relates to the 10 of Pentacles in the tarot.
Hell yeah.
I find that people that have this as their ascendant point are really beautiful manifestors because...
Was that Blake Lively too?
Blake Lively...
Because she had all those Virgo... Oh no, she's not a Virgo rising. She's a Leo rising, right?
She's a Leo rising,
Never mind,
yes.
never mind.
It was...
She just had a lot of Virgo placements.
It was Justin Baldoni who's a Virgo rising, but he is, I think, a 9 of Pentacles.
Oh, okay.
Is his ascendant.
Okay, so they're really good at manifesting.
Yes, because in that card we see there's like this feeling of peering into the veils beyond the physical and then pulling that into the physical,
into the material,
with the energy of generational wealth. Like, what are you leaving behind? Because in that card we see 3 generations.
Were his family members actors or something?
I don't know. I don't actually know a lot about his life. So maybe that's something we should Google as we are doing this. Because I only know him from his works. I actually don't know who he is. I mean, I know about his soul now, seeing his chart.
I know everything about him.
But yeah, I do find that people that have this ascendant point are really beautiful manifestors because Mercury, again, exalts in Virgo, and they have the capacity to speak and vision about their dreams and then pull it into reality. And it's usually to create something even bigger than themselves, something that they are here to leave behind. So
no, his dad is a caterer and his mom is like a school counselor, high school counselor. But his middle name is Bakari, which means noble promise in Swahili.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I wonder if that will play into his chart. That'll be cool.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so because he's a Virgo rising, he is ruled by Mercury, Hermes. And what's so interesting is that he has Mercury in his fall in the sign of Pisces. So the way I like to think about this is Pisces is mutable water. It's the whole ocean, oceanic consciousness. And Virgo is a single drop of the ocean water. And so Mercury loves to be in Virgo because it's there to analyze every single detail, down to the microscope, all of the things. Whereas in Pisces, the mind is attuned to the vast ocean. It's not the natural placement for Mercury because Mercury wants to break things down. Mercury wants to catalyze. Mercury wants to analyze.
Okay, but I've heard like so many astrologers talk about that Pisces Mercury is like a very powerful placement though.
It is. I actually love placements that are in fall or detriment because I like to think about if you're in an environment that's uncomfortable, you are going through challenges and then there's an extra grit about you.
Honing.
If you move through a challenge and you have endurance and resiliency because you moved through that challenge. Yeah. So I actually love, I mean, I might be biased because I also have Mercury Pisces, Mars in Cancer, Venus in detriment, and Aries. Like,
I don't have too many detrimental things. I mean, Aries moon. Yeah. Like that one's kind of rough, but I like that one too.
But that's also not,
I feel like it's powerful.
Yeah. Like the moon doesn't like to be in Capricorn and Scorpio. So it's...
I see the Capricorn moon people get really successful, but the Scorpio moon people, they struggle. Like I've met a lot of Scorpio moon that they struggle to process their emotions. They get stuck in them. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're feeling everything so deeply.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to Mercury and Pisces, like his mind is attuned to like the levels of artistry and creativity.
That's what I was going to say that I like about this placement.
Yes. And it's something I feel myself personally having a Mercury and Pisces.
Well, because like Pisces, water, they feel everything. So like if you have strong Pisces placements, like congratulations, you're an empath. Like congratulations, you feel viscerally in your body.
There's inherent sensitivity, and his soul is very sensitive. I also have this grand water trine.
Yeah, and so like that's why I think that people like the Pisces Mercury because even though it's like not in the best placement for Mercury, it's able to translate words and information through feelings, through emotion, which makes arguably like a good singer or a good actor. They say like if you have Pisces Mercury, like your singing voice is really nice, right? So they say like poetry. You have like gifts of like speaking in some way, shape, or form, similar to like artistry. My placement, Gemini Mercury or things like that.
And the thing is with Pisces, it's the last sign of the zodiac, so it encompasses all of the other signs, which means that it's flexible, it's adaptable. And especially for him being ruled by Mercury and Pisces in the 7th house.
Oh, with others.
He is so adaptable. And I think that's why he's such a great actor because he's able to channel all of these emotions and truly feel himself in the character that he's playing. And in the movie Sinners, he's playing 2 different characters.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and it was so good, the way you could tell the distinctions between the 2 brothers.
He can immerse himself in, like, the emotional authenticity of that character, of that person.
And adapt and be flexible with it. I will say, though, that Mercury and Pisces, and this is something that I personally struggled with. So for those of you listening, Sorceers, if you have Mercury and Pisces, feel free to let us know if you also feel this. But there is something to be said about the mind desiring a fantasy. Like, the mind is really attuned to imagination, so you're able to, and the thing that can be toxic about this is the escapism aspect,
and having that in your 7th house, in the house of relationships to others and soulmate contracts and businesses, like
escaping through relationship,
or being delusional about relationships, like having a whole fantasy of what this person is going to be like in your mind, and then it doesn't match in reality. And
then the victimhood consciousness aspect of Pisces is,
I think I've met a lot of Pisces who do that.
Oh yeah, I mean, for years of my life, I was in that consciousness of this is all happening to me, and not taking accountability for my co-creating my reality.
Yeah, I have a cousin that I met late in life. She's like a 3rd remove, 2nd remove, something like that. She's like, has like Pisces, I think she has Pisces stellium. She's a Pisces sun. And like, I realized, I love her. This is like, I'm trying to be like unbiased, but you know, it's like, it's just truthful about the thing. Like, I love her. I still want her in my life, like all that stuff. But I realized she only reaches out to me when she's going through something. Yeah. And she's like, oh, why is this happening to me? Like, what is going on? Like, I can't seem to get this or that or that. And like, she knows like I'm an astrologer and like I can, you know, psychic and stuff. So she's like, what is going on right now? Because I'm really going through, you know, and it's like, it was like a weird realization where it's like, I still want to be there for her. I'm not going to not, you know, like I enjoy her. Yeah. But like, yeah, definitely always coming with like the victim, the problem.
But what's notable is he actually doesn't have any harsh aspects made to his Mercury and Pisces. So that's a really good indication as his chart ruler of he is here to be a spiritual channel. He is here to be an artist, a creative person. And I feel like he's someone that in his personal life, he just straight will channel spiritual guidance and wisdom for people.
Ooh, I wonder if have you seen like an interview with him?
Does actually he haven't. Like that's what I'm saying. I don't really know.
We should look up to see him like in a press junket interview or something where we can see him just being himself.
Yeah, because I feel like what channels through him genuinely changes the people in his life. Like they're changed by what he says. Yeah, I feel like he's a really beautiful spiritual channel because Mercury and Pisces, we are here to be the oracles, the intuitives, the people that channel this spiritual wisdom because our mind is attuned to that vast consciousness. So the other aspect with his 7th house is he has Jupiter here as well, and Jupiter is domicile in the sign of Pisces, meaning that
he owns his own restaurant, hotel, and is growing his own production company. That's Virgo rising for sure.
Manifestation. He's growing something that will last longer than his own existence. That's that 10 of Pentacles.
He has been quoted as saying he's first and foremost a black man and that he's trying to represent universal values. He's like grounded and connected to like his roots. He's from New Jersey. Good work ethic, open to new experiences. He's spoken about the challenges of being famous and having a relationship, but also finding love and wanting to be responsible in his future relationships. That's literally what you just said.
Yes, because that's his ruling planet. That's the most impact in his natal chart is the desire to have healthy communication within relationship dynamics and to feel understood. That's the thing with Mercury and Pisces, and why Mercury is in fall is, I know I struggle with this around feeling like I'm misunderstood or like no one's listening no one's listening to me. So then I just go off into my, like, fantasy world. And that's not supportive when really, like, what I'm here to share is transformative for people, and same for him. So
yeah, it says he's like has a lot of endurance and is able to accomplish a lot of stuff. It says sometimes he might behave impulsively, but he generally knows how to plan out something effectively, which is very Virgo.
Well,
also Aquarius, I feel.
He has his Mercury in a sextile. This is very notable to Venus, who is rejoicing in the 5th house. It's a natural placement for an artist. And Venus is conjunct Neptune and Persephone in the sign of Capricorn. So that's that, like, follow through, the love of ambition, especially towards artistry and creativity, because that's that 5th house.
Wow.
Yep, you see that?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
And then the other aspect with his, I was going to share with Jupiter, this is a very lucky placement to have Jupiter domicile, but that also can attribute to the, like, blowing things out of proportion, the, like, Delulu energy with the relationship dynamics, but also blessings. Like, I wouldn't surprise me if he just experienced
meets the right people at the right time.
Exactly, meeting the right people at the right time to
getting that opportunity so he can be famous.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then, like, people loving his energy because Jupiter there is a blessing. And so there's abundance within his relationship dynamics. Although he's probably been experiencing a lot of lessons within relationship dynamics with Saturn transiting through his 7th house, and now the North Node transiting through
That's true.
his 7th house. He's definitely...
And then it's going to be in his 8th house, so...
Ooh. No. It'll be in his 6th house. Because the nodal axis moves backwards.
Well, I meant the Saturn, right? It'll move... Oh, sorry.
It'll be in his 8th house, yeah. Yeah, Saturn will be moving through his 8th house, which is where he has his own North Node, is in his 8th house.
Yeah, so that's going to...
So...
But I think he also... I feel like you were talking about, like, this mysticalness, and then seeing, like, the Neptune conjunct the Venus, that was giving me, like, okay, Venus Capricorn is very, like, he's probably attracted to people that are go-getters, that follow through, that are practical, that say what they're about, be what they're about, everything matches. But I mean, like, the Pisces, there's a little bit of, like, difference in that. But then having that conjunct Neptune, I feel like he's maybe attracted to, like, people who have achieved feats or, like, accomplished a lot, but we don't, like, it's, like, magical or mystical, like, it's just, like, perfect environment or, like, right, you know, like, I just feel like the Neptune can throw this, like, intuitive, like, mystical energy around
it's a
things.
glamour piece.
Yes.
And that's why another aspect of his art is we see him move through all these different characters, and that's the Neptunian consciousness of shifting. That's also Pisces energy, though.
Yeah.
Shifting, evolving, making you see what he wants you to see. Like, that's the thing. But, I mean, it is a beautiful placement, indicating that he is here to create art and to be an artist in some capacity and to be devoted to his art. That's the energy of Capricorn, and responsible for his art. So it is interesting that he is creating a production company so that he can continue that with other people.
And he also went back to New Jersey to highlight HBCUs. So, like, allowing other people to create as well.
That's being ruled by a 7th house placement, though, is like, I
Your
feel like he genuinely cares about, and then also an 11th house Cancer domicile moon, like, he wants to uplift
he loves
his community.
People. He feels nourished by his people. He wants to take care. Like, Cancer is like the mother, the nurturer.
Yes.
He definitely, like, they talk a lot about him, like, being a hometown hero, going back and, like, he did, like, basketball games at, like, a local high school to create, like, to highlight these, like, HBCU things. Like, he said the HBCU community topic is, like, a thing he's been, like, talking about a lot. And, like, so yeah, it's really cool that he's, like, trying to give back to, like, his community, because he went to, like, the Newark Arts High School. So he, like, came back to do that. Like, it's just really cool. Like, he's created opportunities for other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and giving a platform to people who don't get a lot of recognition has been like a thing for him. So, yeah.
Yeah, because his ruling planet, Mercury, is in what is known as a lucky kite aspect and in a grand water trine to the moon and Black Moon Lilith here in the 11th house, and to Pluto in Scorpio in the 3rd house. And then, like I mentioned, Mercury is making a sextile to Neptune, and then Pluto is also making that same sextile, forming that kite aspect.
Yeah. He's like started like seminars and workshops for kids to like do, for entrepreneurs to start up a business, for financial literacy, for gaming, for coding. Like he wants the players on these teams to like have other opportunities. Like really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really lucky. I feel like I'm curious how he got.
Like, how he got to where he is.
Yeah, like what was his?
I feel like it is definitely his talent.
Yeah.
Because he is, he's a born artist.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there is something in the mix of like being able to kind of have this enchanting, magical vibe that just lures people in that are going to support him. And I feel like that's really probably what it was.
It says combination of talent, impactful roles, and successful collaborations, particularly with the director Ryan Coogler, because he started off like on TV, like breaking in, like doing like not cameos, but appearances, like on a couple episodes or things on like The Wire or Friday Night Lights. It says he was in The Sopranos, All My Children, like stuff like that, and then. He was in Fruitvale Station, which was directed by Ryan Coogler, and that was like the turning point in showcasing his range and his talent.
That director, that relationship that he built.
Yes, and then afterwards he did Creed.
Yep.
Like 2 years later. So it's like, and then he did Black Panther 3 years later. So it's like, yeah. And
it's also dedication. That's that sextile to Venus and Neptune and Capricorn.
Yes.
It's like
I work hard for what I want.
He is responsible for his art.
Yes.
And his soul takes that very seriously.
No, it's true. Like,
yeah.
And it's like when you know that that's what you're here to do, like what else do you do besides take it serious? Besides make space for it. Like there's nothing else to do. That's why so many people are like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? They want to know, what can I just count on and go all in on? And it seems like for him, as far as we know, like he was doing this like early on. So like he knew this is what he wanted and he just kept going for it until it paid off.
Exactly. Yeah. And he also has notable Mars domicile in Aries.
Oh, yeah. We will go forward in our actions.
Yeah. Conjunct Vesta, the high priestess, who is all about, she represents the hearth fire. So it is our
You guys would have great sexual attraction having an Aries Venus.
Oh, God. His arrows literally is on my Venus. Damn. His arrows is at 7 degrees. Ooh. My Venus is at 6 degrees.
I think like having that in the 8th house too, he's probably like one of those lovers that's like, he just knew what needed to be done without me telling him. Like that's like rare as fuck.
Yeah. Well, also sexuality in general is a part of his soul's evolution because he has arrows conjunct the North Node.
Oh, yeah.
So, connecting to his aliveness, to his passions, to sexuality, because this is also happening in the 8th house.
And having a lot of transformation around there.
Which is the house of transformation, the house of sexuality, the house of psychology. So it's really supportive for him actually to understand.
Okay, so 8th house is house of sexuality? I thought 5th house. Is that just sex?
The 5th house is the house of expression and like romance, playfulness. It is a house.
Children.
It is the house of children, and there is sexuality there.
Okay.
But the 8th house.
That's more like in a like embodied way, and the 8th house is more like mysterious.
The 8th house is like, it is the occult, the mystery, but the 8th house is like, let's go into the components of sexuality, the like deep
psychology,
research, the psychology, the like, why do I desire this?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas like,
so like 5th house is like having fun when you're having sex, like feeling good in your body, and then the 8th house is like why I'm like glamour magic. Like, can I draw from this sexual power that I hold within me?
Yes, and what's the deeper purpose? What's the deeper meaning?
Okay.
Yeah.
Glad we cleared that up.
Yeah. But it is the house of the taboo, right? So, I mean, I feel like for his soul's evolution to go deeper into these roles, exploring sexual themes, Eros themes, they're only going to be supportive for him.
Which, like, I think his big name roles, no, but I feel like he's been on a lot of, like BET type stuff. It's, like, by Black people, for Black people, and I think he's done, like, rom-coms or things like that, where it's, like, we're exploring a more sexual, like, character.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I feel like, you know, for him, that's, again, a part of his soul's work and evolution in this lifetime. And also to study, like, psychology, to learn more about himself, especially the Aries energy here. Like, knowing about why he desires certain things. And he probably does, like, in the back end, like, like he's probably doing shadow work already.
Yeah.
And,
like, I keep hearing in my head, it's not that deep. Like, I feel like for him, it's like he's able to, like, get there and be like, it's not like, you know, some people it's like, oh, it's so deep. Like, I don't know where it goes. Like, I feel like he's able to, like, see it and be like, oh, yeah, it's not that deep. Like, I see the truth of what it is. Like, and I can move past it.
That's interesting because the 8th house is the house of the depths.
I know. But I feel like
it's
Aries
is, so it's
yeah,
like to the point,
yes,
direct.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like, you get there quickly, you want to see it, you're not trying to hide it, you're not trying to make it last 7 years.
Yeah.
You just give me the truth.
Yeah.
Let's go there, let's be done.
That's important for him to seek deeper levels of truth, especially about himself.
And I feel like he can't have fun with people with that unless he, like, trusts you in that way. With that, like, Mars there, it's like, I can't feel, like, comfortable to be me unless I know that you can hold space in that way.
And be honest with him. I feel like he's someone who really values honesty, especially having a 4th house Sagittarius, Saturn here.
And also, like, Pisces Mercury, you will feel when people are lying to you.
Oh, yeah. It's a very empathetic frequency.
I feel like people come to him to know, like, I feel like having the Mars in the 8th house in Aries is like, I know what ventures will pan out and I know what won't. Like, I know what to spend my time and energy on intuitively. Like, I choose, like, this will be a great project. Like, how they're, like, he aligned with this director. And then this director, like, helped to, you know? Like, I feel like people come to him to be like, do you think this is a good idea? And he's like, let me help you out. And that's, it makes sense. Like, he's helping out his community in that kind of way. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, especially with this, the North Node in a square to his moon in the 11th house.
Yeah.
That's where that pressure is coming from, by him following his soul's evolution and being willing to explore these themes, especially in his artistry and his work that he's putting out around sexuality and, like, these, I mean, the movie Sinners is about, like, a very occult theme.
That's true. Like, this one is like that. Like, versus, I mean, Black Panther kind of had that, but in a superhero-y way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there are a lot of shamanic themes in Black Panther. Working with the ancestors.
It just, like, wasn't the, like, focus.
Yeah.
You know? It was like, we do this. Yeah. And then it was like, fighting bad guys. You know? Like, I love this movie, but I'm saying it didn't it's really... It wasn't like, movie. Occult is the focus. Yeah. Even though, like, hell yeah, there was hella occult in there.
Yeah. So that's important for him, I mean, in his own personal life, to explore that. And also, like, his physicality, which we see, like, for him, like, exercising, moving his body.
Aries, Mars.
It is essential.
You need to be active.
Yes, it's really important for his soul.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like that square. It's like the pressure to give back to the community. Like, I'm going and I'm getting there, but I also have to acknowledge who helped me to get there, what helped me to get there.
Yeah, and that's really important to him, you know, in his personal life, is who are the people around him that he can trust. Yeah. And, you know, Mars in the 8th house, this is a karmic placement around the experience of death in a very sudden way, like whether it was you or someone close to you dying. So this can indicate that in this lifetime, like, there is this feeling of enjoying every moment, especially with the Aries energy domicile, enjoying every single moment while we're still here. It really is that like YOLO vibes.
Yeah, make the best, live it up,
and have the people
maximize. That's why he's like when I was reading about what's his personality like, a lot of the sources were saying like he doesn't slow down, he doesn't stop, he doesn't quit. It's like he's like, I'm going to use all of the resources and all of the energy and all the opportunities that I have available to me right now. There's no point in waiting. There's no point in stopping. Yeah. That's very Aries Mars.
And also Saturn, I mean, see, he has Saturn in a trine to Mars, Saturn in his 4th house, in his foundation, in his roots. He is connected to structure, but also it's Sagittarius energy. So it's like a commitment to playfulness, to spaciousness, to joy, to higher levels of consciousness. But he does have that like committed, focused, disciplined.
Yeah. And he's bringing that in the opportunities he's creating, at least in his hometown. He's giving people the ability to have more joy, to have higher levels of consciousness, to explore things, to build, like, he's kind of like Saturn in that sense. Like, he's teaching them, giving them opportunities to learn like financial literacy, to learn entrepreneurship. Like he's raising everyone else up while he raises himself up.
Yes. And I think a lot of that too is his Aries or Aquarius sun, because Aquarius is not where the sun is super happy, because the sun is again domicile in Leo. So in Aquarius, like this is an egoic consciousness that is attuned to the collective frequency. But I can see why he gets that energy around, like he doesn't stop, because the 6th house is the house of health, vitality. It is how we are of service. And he deeply cares about being of service to humanity through his art. And he is someone that takes his health very seriously. Actually, the sun here indicates that he's had past lives where he's understood like the realms of healthcare. So
and then Virgo rising.
Yes.
They say like Virgo placements, like major Virgo placements, you're so sensitive. Like they will sense like one change in their internal environment in their body and be like, like my shoulder's a little tight today. Like what's going on here? Or it's like, oh, my stomach feels a little weird. Am I okay? Is there something going on? Like they're very sensitive to the body piece.
Yes.
And like if they're not feeling well, like we saw that with Brittany. She was like a Virgo rising in the last Brittany Cartwright that we covered.
Virgo moon.
Moon, yeah. It's like if you're not like feeling good in your life, then your body will kind of show you as a Virgo.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's really important to for him. His wellness rituals are huge. And we see that like just in his sacred physicality. Like he is someone who takes care of his body. And so I do see that, a part of his service to humanity is building something for others. That's that humanitarian values of Aquarius that's here.
I also have my Chiron in the 10th house.
The next thing I was going to say, he's got that trine from his sun to Chiron in his 10th house.
Yeah.
So for him, like being in the spotlight, building his career is healing like a deeper wound for his soul, which is like so beautiful to see what he's created. Yeah,
like maybe he was silenced or he didn't get to do that in a past life. Exactly. And now being able to do that,
using his voice, because it's in Gemini.
Yeah.
So using his voice, expressing himself. This is how he heals like a deeper wound within him, but also what he's here to like teach as well.
Yeah. That you can take up your space and you can use your voice and you can go for the things that you want. Like even in the workshops that he creates for his hometown, like Gemini is like the Renaissance man. Gemini loves learning. It's like he's creating opportunities for higher learning. He's collaborating with those people, like, and it was through sports, which is very Aries Mars. Like, definitely.
Yeah. So I love that. And then his
having a restaurant and having your Cancer moon in the fucking 11th house. That's like Cancer moon in the 11th house.
Feed everyone. And also create safe spaces, right? Like that's what Cancer moons they crave that energy of safety. But then in the 11th house, it's like, how can I expand that for everyone to experience?
And I feel like those two placements, that Cancer moon and the Pisces Mercury, like that's why he's so sensitive. And then like he probably had to like figure that shit out growing up. He probably had to get to that point where because Cancer moon also plays the victim, I feel. Like Cancer, I have a few Cancer moons in my life, and they're always like exasperated or exhausted at like dealing with people, and like their emotions are so like intense and sometimes a little hard to move through, I feel, because Cancer takes things personally. And Cancer likes to hold a grudge. So it's like they often like struggle with the big feelings that they have. And
the moon trining Pluto, like, that's
even bigger feelings. Even more intense. Yeah.
And that's why it's so important for him to express himself with the Pluto 3rd house.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Like, for him, it's like talking out his feelings, expressing his feelings.
And
is like
pouring them into art, too, right? Like, having characters that he can emotionally relate to, I feel like is also really supportive for him as a way. Because I feel like, you know, as someone growing up doing performing arts, that's what I really loved about it, is I got the opportunity to experience a vast range of emotions. Yeah. Because being a Sag moon, I mean, Sag moons, we like to have optimism, you know, a lot of times. Like, we don't always necessarily...
Not super dark.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was fun to be able to kind of explore all of that. And yeah, I mean, that's what he's really here to do, is like express his emotions. Like, there's a deep desire.
Yeah. And yeah, I do agree. Like, it can, trying on characters can be a healthy way to express and explore and have an outlet for the emotions. Yes. For sure.
Yes. And his moon is also opposing Neptune and Venus. So it's also like the emotions can be confusing sometimes too, because Neptune kind of has this quality of it. Neptune permeates. It's like that hazy mystical fog. It permeates everything. Yeah. Which can be confusing.
And it's in like his 5th house too. So it's like his own passion and desire and creativity. I think like sometimes like he needs to like deepen into the community to be reminded of that, to like ground into that, to be like, okay, my feelings are here. Yes. Okay, this is what I need to do with those feelings, you know? Like I feel like that makes a lot of sense.
And with Black Moon Lilith conjunct his moon, the more raw, vulnerable he is about his emotions, like and he pours it into his art with that opposition, that actually supports other people by him being vulnerable and sharing his story and his emotions. Yes. And that's also the Chiron in the 10th house, like the vulnerability.
And that shows like also emotional range as an actor. Like he can pull from this dark feminine lineage as a Black Moon Lilith like conjunction there.
I wouldn't want to make him mad though.
No.
He's someone that
that gave me chills.
No. I feel like
Cancer like will hold all the fucking receipts.
And then the Aries
just, like,
Mars too.
Cut you like,
because his Mars actually no, it's his north node in that square to the moon, but still like that's an aggressive.
And in the 8th house, he probably gets some like intuitive like ping, and then like goes in like, oh, and I know another thing about you. You know?
And then being ruled by Mercury Pisces, he's picking up all the information.
And Cancers can they're good at emotional manipulation, and then Pisces is good at like crafting that
as
like
well.
Vibe. Like he could be like, you'll be coming in being like, you're 100% wrong, and you'll leave being like, I fucked up.
I would not want to make this man mad.
No, don't want to deal with that. No,
especially with Pluto in the 3rd house too. Like he can cut with his words. So,
like he might just pull some. Like that's also an intuitive placement. So he might pull something out and you're like, how did you know that about me?
And this is also why I was sharing that he has this power of transforming people's lives by just straight channeling wisdom.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. Like if you sit down and talk with him, you're like, wow, there's some aha moment that happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He seems cool. I mean, we have a lot of similarities too.
Yeah,
in
you
our
too,
charts,
yeah.
so I feel like
You would vibe. You
Yeah.
have that Aries, Mars, Aries, Venus, though. I feel like if you see him in person, you're gonna be like, like your breath is gonna catch in your lungs. You're gonna be like, oh my god. And then the Pisces Mercury, I feel like it's like two Pisces Mercuries communities. Like,
yes, we just
like
will
just
get
vibes.
each other, right?
It's like we're
Like,
vibing
it's
with
like-
each other. The vibe, like he will actually.
Yeah.
It's like in Akatar when like the beings get like turned on and people can smell it and stuff. It's gonna be like that. Like you're gonna be like, oh, and he's gonna like his Pisces is gonna be like, someone is attracted to me. Like I can feel it.
I feel like he deals with that all the time.
Being
though.
an actor,
like that's
I'm sure,
that's
I'm
just
sure.
like a part of his
and being
daily
a hot
life.
actor at that. Like,
But that's
come
also
on.
part of his evolution with arrows on his north node,
Yeah,
especially in
he's
Aries.
supposed to. That he was named
Yeah.
the sexiest man alive in like
Really?
yeah, in what is it,
Yeah.
the Time magazine or whatever.
Makes sense to me.
Vogue, one of those.
Yeah, makes sense to me. And I think it's interesting too that his south node is in Libra in the second house, which indicates that, you know, he's had many lifetimes knowing how to
Enjoying.
navigate relationship dynamics. So he knows how to pull the strings and
Yeah.
he knows how to navigate power dynamics when things are out of balance within relationship dynamics. And he knows how to cultivate relationships where there is shared values. That's that second house. So,
Or manipulate that with all of his other placements.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
capacity to, but it seems that he is very committed to growing and learning. So hopefully, like, he has the capacity, but he doesn't rely on that and, like, use that all the time.
Yeah, I feel like he's definitely growing towards his north node in Aries, though, by, like,
Yeah.
by putting himself out there with his art
Yeah.
and following his passion.
And, like,
And-
those big movies,
yeah.
like Creed and Black Panther, are very, like, active.
They're very action-oriented.
Strong. Yeah.
That's Aries energy.
Yeah, that totally tracks. It's even
Yeah.
a vampire. Playing a
Yeah.
vampire character, like, strong,
So,
powerful,
And in the 8th house.
dominating. That's so
frequency.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So he definitely is, his soul is evolving in his journey. So good job, Michael.
I feel like we make good friends because
Yeah.
my son is in the 8th house. So it's like, I'll make his moon feel safe.
Yeah.
And then his Aries placements in the 8th house would make my moon feel safe.
But with your moon and his Mars there might be some
We might have a misunderstanding or an
there
argument.
might be some combative,
That makes sense.
especially because your moon would be in a natural square to his moon. So
Never mind.
might be some.
I'm not gonna be friends with Michael B.
I
Jordan.
feel like with my natal moon in Sagittarius, especially conjunct to his stellium he has here with Ceres,
Yeah.
Uranus and Saturn, I feel like that would be a little bit more of like a comforting thing because it's the 4th house. It's like the roots. It's like a familiarity.
But even
kind of
having like
feeling.
Saturn and Uranus there, because I feel like that's like you're gonna learn a lesson or you're gonna have a sudden change or something like that type of energy.
Well, that's just what his roots are. Like, he's someone that he has the Saturnian, the structure, the discipline, especially towards his craft. But he also has the Uranian flavor there too, which can indicate many past lives of being like a nomad, a traveler, like wanting the shock, the change, surprise. So what I'm saying by my moon there, it's like a comforting kind of feeling.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Also, I have I have my Saturn in the 4th house too, and they say like that can indicate like a rough childhood or like like a rough upbringing. I know it's a little different because I have it in Pisces. It's gonna be a little different with the Sag plus Saturn, but maybe it was more like because if his mom was a high school counselor, like maybe she pushed him to like learn more, to grow more. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it does indicate many past lives of having to be responsible for your family.
Yeah.
And there's like a pressure in this lifetime to understand like your ancestral lineage and to
Yes, I also, when I got older, I started really getting into my ancestral lineage.
And to provide in some way, which is like interesting that now he's like created all these things where he can give back and provide.
Yes.
Yep.
That's very true.
And the series there is only amplifying that as the mother goddess, like nurturing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like I know nothing about his family, but like from looking at them psychically, I feel like it wasn't that crazy.
I mean, yeah, it is Sagittarius, so it's like there might have been intense like religious stuff or like belief systems.
That makes sense. I feel it more from his dad.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's also something to navigate with Sagittarius Saturn placement. Of like,
that makes sense.
I'm looking at like what are the structures and the paradigms that have been taught to me in terms of like.
Well, that's like that quote where he's like, first and foremost, I'm a black man. Like that's a traditional like thing that probably was ingrained in him, and also just existing in America. Like you're very, very aware that you're a person of color.
Yes.
And what your limits are as a person of color. Like, and
also how important it is to be someone that speaks for his community.
Yes, he's breaking that and helping undo that. Yes, he's healing generationally for black people, not just his family. But yeah, it's like I've seen a lot of people of color, like what I meant by limits as a black man is like when you grow up and you're a person of color, like I've seen so many people like the mom or the dad is like when they leave the house, like, remember, you're a black person, like don't say this, don't do this, don't like get in this trouble, like, you know, like there's so many like quote unquote limits that are like placed on you. It's like don't start fights, don't like, you know, get in someone's face, don't do like walk around with your hands in your pockets. Like there's so much that you could do.
We live in a systematically racist society.
So there's a lot of that, and then as a kid you have to, it's like the parent is obviously trying to protect their kid, but it's like to receive all of that shit as a kid is like a lot. Yeah. To be like, what? I just like, kids aren't inherently racist, so it's like they're like, what do you mean? Like I have to do this and this and be this and like not act like this and like appear this way, and like it's just a lot to place on a kid. Yeah. But it's safety, so I get it.
Yeah. And you know, he probably had to do like a lot of like chores and things. Like his parents probably instilled like structure in him too at a young age.
But like his Mars Aries probably like that. And doing things. Yeah. And like the Cancer moon.
Yeah, especially with that trine. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he has innate responsibility, like in his soul. Like he's.
I mean, he's taking responsibility for his whole community.
Exactly.
And nobody asked him, and he was like, "I think it's really important that I need to do this." Yep. Yeah, that's 100%. Okay, so you know we're professional yappers. That's why we have a podcast. Yes. So sometimes that means that the episode goes on for like over 2 hours.
So. A lot of times it means that. So
even the Alexa agrees. Yeah, so we decided to cut this episode into 2 halves, pausing it here, and we'll pick up right where we where we left off next week.
And so come back and listen to the rest of the episode next week.
Yes, and we always appreciate and love your support and continued listening and community. So again, if you enjoyed this episode, like, comment, subscribe, all the things, share, tell your friends, get involved. We love feedback too. We're not just here to tell you things, we're here to listen as well. And yeah,
thanks until next time. Seeing into Source with us.
Bye. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Source Seers. We can't wait to hear your take on all the magic we talked about.
Follow Source Seers on IG and all other platforms to let us know your thoughts and get involved in our community.
You can also follow Love at Love Sakratoff on all the platforms.
And Tylynn at Tylynn Mackenzie, or go to my website, templeradiance.com.
We'd love it if you could leave us a review on Spotify, Google, or Apple Podcasts, and share Source Seers with anyone you feel might benefit from magical community right now. Hail Jupiter!
Thanks for seeing into Source with us.
Bye!